What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great day. It is Thursday right now when I'm recording, February 23rd. It's almost March. Thank goodness. I know a lot of you guys up in the upper Midwest are dealing with a lot of cold and ice and snow and all kinds of like record-breaking things. I sure hope that you're safe. I hope that you're warm, and I hope things get back to normal for you guys really, really soon. Heard like almost 1 million people without power in just Michigan. That's crazy. So it's been cold here too. It's about this overnight. I want to say it was like 5 below or something like that. Wind chill, who knows? Probably 15 below or something. So it's been a bit cold. It's been a very cold and it's been a very wintry winter here in Colorado, which is a little unusual. I mean, so it's most of the time we'll have days of 50 degrees with beautiful sunshine. You know, we'll have, maybe 8 out of every 10 days. No, 5 out of every 10 days. It's nice and sunny and pretty nice. And then we might have a couple of cold, weather days in there. And then we may have some with some snow. But we've had a lot more than normal, which all moisture is good here in Colorado. We're happy for that. So thank you guys so much for all your feedback in the last week or so. I really, really appreciate it. I'm trying to use my audience a lot more in terms of trying to figure out like what you guys want, what's best, and so I can provide you guys with the kind of entertainment that you like to see. So, oh, by the way, I'm Jules. If you haven't been here before, I do cross stitch. I do crazy cross stitch, and I also design my own patterns now. So these are designs, monochrome designs. I do color ones as well. Say hello to President Kennedy, President's Day here in the States. So I have a couple presidents related things to show you guys. I know I'm a week behind, or a couple days behind at least. I've got 2 things. I totally forgot. Did I show you guys this one? Okay, hold on. I gotta pause. Hold on. Time out. How do I do time out? Time out. Oh, Kaleidokally. So I haven't made that much progress with cross stitch this week. I have a bit of a new start, which right now I'm scatterbrained as usual, but I've got this new start. I'm sure you can tell what it is. Go ahead, guess. Go ahead. Yeah, no, you're not gonna be able to guess because I haven't shown it. This is a brand new pattern and one that I'm very excited about because I was thrilled when it came out the way that it did. So super excited. Most of today is gonna be just showing you guys new pattern. Almost all of today is going to be showing you guys new patterns on the store, and kind of talking a little bit about how I'm changing some things about the patterns to make it easier for you guys to know what it is that you are getting yourself into before you even get started. But first, we're going to just go through all of our new. Look at this. Look at this. It's like, I don't know, it might be like 10 or more new patterns. I'm doing a few more this morning as it is. I'm so excited. Okay, where am I? Let's see, what shall I show you guys first? Okay, let's start with the President's Day thing. So I actually created a President's Day seal. Well, I didn't create the seal. Let's just lay that out first. I did a cross stitch pattern of the presidential seal. So it's pretty detailed. And to get like that, it is 210 by 210. It is not full coverage. The white you see is just your fabric. You're only doing this circular part. So if you were to stitch this on my preferred stitching is like 25 count. It's 8.5 by 8.5. So, you can kind of judge that better. If you're more used to other size fabrics, all that's on the listing as far as how much, size you'll need. And I can't even talk this morning. It does have 30 colors in it. I wanted to really maintain the level of detail on it. So if you're my family has always been kind of a presidential trivia, or we've always enjoyed all the presidents type stuff. So that's where we're at. So there's that. Let's see, what else should I show you next? All right, next I'm going to show you is something more NASA / space related. I found this old vintage picture, and this is, if you're familiar, I think it's either a Mercury or an Apollo capsule. It did not tell you on the picture which one it was. there is a seat there, and then I want to say there's a seat you can see over here, and there could be space for a third seat right there. If it's a 3-seater, it's Apollo. If it's a 2-seater, it's Mercury. So not really sure. I just call this one Space Capsule, and it is 180 by 140. It's not, again, not full coverage. I always like choose white for my background in my pictures, just so you guys can truly see, like, so the thing pops and you can tell when it's not, you know, full coverage. 25 colors on 25 count fabric. This is only 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches by 6 inches on 25 count fabric. So that's not very big when it comes to a lot of my patterns. So there's that one, a Space Capsule. I'm gonna do the black and white ones last. Now I labeled this one Valencia, but this is, if you guys are familiar at all with Spain and some of the more beautiful buildings they have in Valencia, this is, I'm gonna get this wrong because I don't have it written out. It's like the Palau de la Arts or de las, it's some, I don't remember, but it's like the Performing Arts Center, and it's right along the water. It was absolutely beautiful. I'd never actually seen this structure before. And while I haven't necessarily done a black and white of it yet, this does kind of scream for a black and white, but I haven't done this one yet. I just loved the colors of it. You can actually, it's right on the water. So this right here is actually the reflection of the light and everything off of the water. So 250 by 110, again, not full coverage, 25 colors. On 25 count fabric, it is about 10 inches by 5 inches. So there you go. There you go. All of these can be found on my stitchingjewelsdesign.com store, as well as the Etsy store of the same name. And it is, yeah, it's in the news section right now. So brand new, or landmarks potentially. Let me pull up a couple. I'm going to skip over and start doing some black and white ones so I can show you guys. Here's a brand new one that just went on the store this morning. Miles Davis, baby. Okay, that's terrible playing. I mean, my playing would be terrible. I did used to play the trumpet when I was in high school for 4 years, something like that. That's nowhere near Miles Davis, but good old Miles in a monochrome. So this one is 240 by 170, but you know that you're only stitching the dark black areas of this. It's only about 6,000 stitches. And to just, this is like, I think this was like 7,000 stitches. So I've got some smaller monochrome projects being released today. But you know, smaller just in overall stitch count. So, you know, one of these days I'll get my act together and actually pump out some of these smaller ones, stitching them myself, but I got too much else to do right now. So good old Miles. So on 25 count, this one is 10 inches by 7 inches. So man, if you were to get some, like, jazz always screams to me like purple. So if you had like this purple, like dyed fabric or whatever, and then smacked Miles right on there, maybe in some 310 DMC, that might be pretty cool. That might be pretty cool. There's that one. Y'all like your dog breeds. I got a couple new dog breeds. But I got the boxer. Without the cropped ears, which is my preferred look for these guys. This one is 189 by 176. 8,500 stitches. So again, not a ton. 25 count fabric. This is about a 7.5 by 7 pattern. So you could definitely like take this one and put it on some tan or some brown type fabric, you know, hand dyed, so it's not like a consistent color, but it's maybe like just kind of, it would look so good, you know. I mean, it would just really kind of mimic the look of a boxer. So that's one thing to do. Speaking of dog breeds, I got another one. I got the old Italian Greyhound. Now, I thought this one was a Whippet at first, and one would think, being veterinarian and working with dogs for like 30 years, that I would know better. And at first I was like, yeah, he just doesn't have his ears up. And I was like, no, I think this is actually an Italian Greyhound. Now, if this looks like your Whippet, feel free to call it a Whippet. That's totally fine. But this one is 250 by 180 and under 6,000 stitches. So again, pretty small for my stuff. 10 inches by 7.5 on 25 count fabric. But this is another one that, like, if you have a gray or a fawn or a black or whatever, I mean, not a black, that would not look good. Well, I mean, you could do black fabric and then maybe do like gray on top of it. I don't know. You guys are the ones that decide how it looks best for you. But there's a lot of options when it comes to the Italian Greyhound. Ciao. All right. What else we got? Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to show you my last monochrome. The Octopus. This is a vintage hand drawing of an octopus. Again, would be really cool on all kinds of cool fabric. I did not write down how many stitches was on this. Oh boy. It's 296 by 154. So on 25 count fabric, it'd be about 12 inches by 6.5. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, man, that's really nice, but that's a lot of stitching for an octopus. Gosh, I really wish that you would put out something like, I don't know, a miniature octopus. I don't know how this worked. I really don't know how this was able to work, but I've got less than 50% of the stitches, and I think this still looks pretty dang good. This required a lot more kind of finagling and kind of fixing the pattern, so to speak, in post-production. But this is pretty much the same pattern, just a lot less stitches and a lot smaller. How small is this? 148 by 78. My first monochrome this small by far. How many stitches could this be? 2,900 people. 2,900 stitches. On 25 count fabric, this is 6 inches by 3.5. And right now in the store, this is only $2. On my Etsy store, I actually need to change the price on the Shopify store. If you want to go there, stitchingjewelsdesign.com, you can see how messed up my hair is. I don't care. I don't care how white my hair is. This is experience. And so the mini pattern is, I've dropped the price considerably. I think this would be a nice starter pattern for anybody who wants to get into monochrome, but maybe is a bit scared of the bigger projects. So for just $2, you can hop on, try this out. Doesn't need a lot of fabric. Doesn't need a lot of 310. I think it just needs, it's less than 2.5 skeins of any kind of whatever color that you choose to use of floss. Less than 2.5. So it's a great starter project, and I think it's a fast one for a lot of people to do. So, you know, take a look at that one and see what you think. Now, the dogs are barking outside, but I'm not bringing them in. I know it's a little cold outside, but they're in the sun. It's not that bad. Where am I? Let's rush through those so that we can get them inside. All right, so I took a listen to you guys, what you wanted from your patterns, and also the fine folks. My fine folks on Patreon, my patrons, have been extraordinarily helpful in the last, well, they're always helpful, but exceptionally so in the last week or two. They were like, more dragons, or just dragons. So this is my blue dragon, mystical blue dragon. So it's just, again, you're just stitching the blue part of the dragon. All this is just space. It's 200 by 120. I think it's a fairly fast stitch for you guys. 16 colors, but it's a nice start for a dragon look. And the dragons worked out so well that I got another dragon out. This one's a green dragon, a little bit more, lively looking, a little bit more like realistic looking. This one is 200 by 200. With 29 colors, really wanted to leave in that detail so you guys could really pop. This one's going to look amazing when you actually put it on some colored fabric. I think it works better than the white does on this, but that's up to you guys to decide. So yeah, 200 by 200. And then lastly, and I didn't even bother to write down like what's on everything here. I'm really happy with this one. I'm just going to show it to you guys. You guys know what you're looking at? This is the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. This is actually like a picture of it where you can see the reflection of everything that sits across from it, the trees and the grass and whatnot. The Washington Monument actually sits like right down here, and there's all kinds of stuff over here, but I wanted to focus on the monument. So I did some, adjusted the photo and did some different things, and then basically altered everything so that you can still, like over here, see that the script, you know, of the names that are written on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. But then as it goes further down, you kind of see more of the reflection of what's upon it. I want to go to this place one day. I've never been to DC. I would love to go to DC someday and see all these amazing memorials. But I'm super pleased about this. It is 180 by 180. It is full coverage. It has 28 colors in it. This one did not need to be scrimped on at all. Like, I wanted to make sure that the pattern looked as amazing as the picture looked. And so I will not make it smaller. I will not make it with less colors. And that actually is my mystery start of the week. I really want to see how this one looks. I'm stitching this one on 18 count fabric. And I'm using the gifted, my gifted fabric. Yay! So this one fits. This one is just perfect for this project. So I'm going to work on it a little bit at a time, but I really, really, really wanted to get that one started because I just, man, I mean, how amazing is that? That's just so cool. So, all right. So finally, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is, like, in my attempted world domination of cross stitch. No, in my attempted enhancement of cross stitch. I want to provide patterns for people who maybe just want to find some different patterns to do, be able to cross stitch things that maybe they've never been able to cross stitch before, but also help people get into the hobby and make it easier for people to stitch some of these projects that they think, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. So there's a couple things that I've started doing on the website, stationjewelsdesign.com. One of them is I'm going to begin to put them into categories of size. So like a mini is like under 59 stitches. The longest, it's based on the longest length side. So you know, like the mini octopus would be in the smallest section. Like something like my painting of the Good Samaritan is like in the supersize pattern, and then, or supersize section, and then there's everything in between. It's not done yet. It's not even close to being done. It's a lot of work to do, but that's something that I'm going to be doing for you guys going forward, and it'll just, I hope, make it easier for you to be able to find patterns that, you know, instead of like going through everything on the site, which I have to be honest with you, like I do that when I go to new cross stitch pattern sites. I just can't help myself. I just go through everything. But if you were to know ahead of time, like this is how roughly how big this pattern is, I think you'd be more interested and more likely to kind of really dig in and see what's available. The second thing that I'm doing is with the amazing help of my patrons, we kind of ironed out what I should be doing on my listings, which is right now, excuse me, right now all I'm doing is just telling you guys, like, this is the stitched fabric, like this is the dimensions of what the pattern would be like stitched on 14 count, 18 count, 25 count. But I didn't put anything else in. I said, hey, don't forget, you got to add a couple inches on and do this, you know, for framing and whatnot. Well, I'm going to actually do that for you now. So, and we're going to do not just 14, 18, and 25 count fabric, but we're throwing in 28. And that's as far as I'm going, people. Anybody who's using linen is probably well used to like figuring out the patterns on themselves. And it's already a lot of work. So, on Etsy, and some of the newer patterns are going to already have it. Like if you were to jump on and look at, Miles Davis today, I put Miles Davis on, like his stuff is already fully done, but I have to go back and add that to every pattern that I have. And that's a lot of work. And you may think, gosh, you know, you've done all this work. Now you keep going back and like trying to fix or trying to add things to old patterns. Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, once you throw something out there, it's not technically done. I mean, you want to get better. I want to provide a better store. I want to provide a better cross-stitch experience for you guys. And I want you guys, when you go to look for a pattern, to feel confident that you know what you're doing, you know what you're getting into, and that you are happy when you're making progress because you can see what it's going to be, and you can just be like, yeah, if I just keep working at it, I'm going to have this amazing project done, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be so proud of for years. And maybe you do it as a gift. You know, this is, especially with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, I mean, that could be a fantastic gift for a father, a mother, grandfather, grandmother. You know, there's a lot of options there. So So it's a lot of work, and it's fine. I love it. I do love it. It's just kind of getting into it. But I have more patterns that I'm putting on the store. Like I said, I've got one. Well, I've got one that's going to be Japanese related, Asian related, and then I've got so many that I just want to put on. I can't help myself. I really cannot help myself. I love it so much. All right, well, I got to get going because the dogs are starting to tell me that they need to come inside and take a nap. So you guys stay safe, stay warm, unless you're in Australia. Stay cool. Australians, love you guys. You know how much I love you guys. I've got a lot of patterns for you guys, and I would love to do more. I've had a suggestion for a kookaburra. Been trying to find the right kookaburra photo for, to put something, like maybe in monochrome or even color on there. But I don't know. It's a constant, never-ending process. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your stitching. Don't stress. Everything's cool. Everything's gonna be all right. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.